All right, let me check the feed. Shalom, shalom.
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 We'll get rolling in here in a second. Shalom, shalom. All right, we in there. All right, let's get right after it. The Roe versus Wade case is the ultimate snare. Let's get into it.
These Supreme Court justices are set to hold a closed-door conference today. It's their first meeting since the leak of a draft majority opinion indicated that the High Court may overturn Roe v. Wade. Yesterday, Senate Democrats failed to advance a bill to protect abortion rights. So Scott McFarland is following the very latest for us and is joining us now from D.C. Good to see you this morning, Scott.
Anne-Marie, good morning to you. Congress took this largely symbolic vote on a law to codify Roe versus Wade, and as expected, it failed, raising the stakes on this imminent ruling from the High Court. No twists, no turns. It went nearly straight down party lines.
The motion is not agreed to.
The Senate blocked debate on a measure writing some federal abortion rights into law, with all Republicans.
Their extreme proposal goes way beyond codifying the status quo.
And West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin opposing.
We should not be dividing this country further than we're already divided.
Vice President Kamala Harris presided over the vote.
And this vote clearly suggests that the Senate is not where the majority of Americans are on this issue.
Inside, House Democrats crossed the Capitol chanting.
My decision, my money.
And outside. So what do you do next?
Well, next we just start campaigning like crazy.
I think it needs to be a drumbeat.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says Democrats in his own party are not sounding the alarm loud enough leading into the midterm elections. His state of Illinois is now surrounded by 5 states that are set to restrict or completely end access to abortion if Roe versus Wade is struck down by the High Court, as anticipated.
We need to be talking about this, making sure that voters know about this from now through November, and frankly, as long as it takes.
As crowds continue to gather near some of the justices' homes, state and local law enforcement agencies are issuing awareness reports that demonstrations may become flashpoints for violence with little to no warning. The governors of Maryland and Virginia have asked the Justice Department to help provide extra security outside the homes of Supreme Court justices. In the meantime, on Saturday, abortion rights groups rally at the Washington Monument just across the street from the White House to continue to have their voices heard. Anne-Marie?
Yeah, I think they're going to be there for a while, maybe until we hear the final decision from the court. Listen, as you pointed out, Democrats knew that this law to codify Roe v. Wade was not going to pass, right? They just wanted to make sure that they had every senator on the record about where they stood. So then moving forward, how are they going to leverage the results of yesterday's vote?
Yeah, the Senate Majority Leader said he was trying to use a floodlight politically to shine a light on where everybody in the Senate stands on abortion rights, conceivably with the idea that he would promote those votes and those stances as part of the midterm electioning. At this point, this has been an election cycle that's been so very dominated by economic issues, by inflation, gas prices, grocery prices, by things that are of retail importance to Americans' budgets. There is this effort by Democrats to try to leverage this vote to return the electorate to its passion over the issue of abortion rights. There are about 5 or 6 months for them to do so, but it really hasn't moved the meter in the last week and a half since that draft opinion was released, indicating the High Court is poised to overturn Roe versus Wade. Hasn't moved the meter, according to our CBS News polling, which shows a majority of respondents said this would not make them more likely and is not likely to impact their vote. We'll see if yesterday in that long debate and that vote changed things.
Yeah, we will see. Scott, thank you very much.
All right. Hey, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
All right. We are the brothers of Great Millstone, Charlotte. All right. And before we get started with this live lesson, okay, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Hey, double honors to the apostles, and elders of Great Millstone who taught us his truth. Double salutations to our Yuakim out there laboring, the house of David, the elect, that's pushing his word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom to you, brothers. All right.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, man. So as you're seeing, man, this whole Roe v. Wade situation, man, is one of the main distractions that Esau is using to pretty much, get people's minds off what's really going on. But then when you actually look at the underlying factor of what's happening, all right, they are pretty much preparing to strip you of all your rights, man, your privacy, And so we see all this as a ploy for them to pretty much bring in their agenda, man. Esau does not do anything without a wicked undertone to it, man. So we just wanted to get into this to show you that this wave was done in stages, which we call gradualism, because he wasn't just going to come out outright and do what he planned on doing, So talk about, we go ahead and break down the case by the shot.
God. So the history of Roe versus Wade, really it starts in the state of Texas, where Jane Roe was a 22-year-old woman who was about to birth her third child. And pretty much after the third child, being somebody that was impoverished, she went to the courts in Texas and pretty much alleged that the law was unconstitutionally vague and violated her constitutionally protected right to personal privacy. Okay. So when Roe pretty much went to go talk to the courts, it wasn't necessarily addressing solely abortion, rather personal privacy, the aspect of my body, my choice, right? Now, fast forward to 2022, and why this is so pivotal is because versus 1973, when the courts had ushered in that declaration, versus now, what's different? We have access to digital means where people are able to create themselves in those spaces. So now, not only is your personal privacy at jeopardy, but when you look at this, it's this article from wired.com, Roe versus Wade privacy practices. And pretty much it goes into stating that a critical component of Roe versus Wade is its determination that the right of privacy is broad enough to encompass a woman's decision whether to terminate her pregnancy. All right. Again, the point being the right of privacy. Right. But then it goes on to say, but comprehensive digital privacy is challenging to achieve in an age of widespread user tracking, location tracking, and corporate data retention. You see? So this is not solely just something of personal privacy, right? But privacy of your entire existence, man.
That's right.
You see?
Right. And so, like I said, when dealing with Esau, you gotta understand that this man is very crafty in his doings, man. Can you hold Sirach 10 or 12 and 10?
Hey, before you bring that, I got something too. All right. Let me bring this out real quick. All right. This is just going into what the craftiness of this damn serpent. Like the brothers are saying, this Roe versus Wade case, all right, has an underlying issue. It's deeper than just abortion rights, man. All right. This is to invade your privacy. All right. Basically to mandate the you know what, all right, the charagma, to make that as it tells you, Revelation 13 and 16, that he causeth all, right? That word causath going back to what? To constitute, right? To mandate by law, right? See, the scriptures say, we have the spiritual one up on this devil. We know exactly what he's trying to do, right? We got the playbook, which is the holy scriptures, right? But let me read this real quick. This is I got two precepts. This is Genesis 3. All right. This is Genesis 3:1, and it reads, it says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, and the beasts of the field represent the other nations. And so it talks about how the serpent, going back to that wicked line, all right, a wicked race of people, right, which is going back to Cain, Esau, right? He's from that line, right? Now that the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. That word subtle going back into what? Subtle, shrewd, crafty. All right. This nigga is slick, right? Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord power Yahweh had made. And he said unto the woman, and he said unto the woman, yea, Yahweh said, ye should not eat of every tree of the garden. Right? Let me jump up. Verse 13. Straight to the point. Genesis 3 and 13. And the Lord power Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. And the same thing is happening unto this very day, right? These damn women are being beguiled by the serpent all over again, man.
Yep.
Right. And they bought into that, that philosophy that it's okay, all right, to basically kill your unborn child, man. They bought into all the demonic ways of the serpent all over again.
That's right.
To say what? Nothing new under the sun, man.
Yep.
Okay? Same thing is happening all over again, man. Right? So people have been beguiled by the serpent all over again. And this time is on a deeper level as we're getting into this lesson. Right? I got you on that precept. I'm gonna put it in the screen for you.
Kyle, well, since you brought up the women, I want to touch on that real quick because, like you said, man, the serpent has fully took Eve's mind and pretty much fed her lies to pretty much make her think that everything he's done was for her benefit, when she doesn't really understand that he's used her as a pawn to destroy our nation, man.
Right.
Precept. This is Job 39 and 17. It says, because Yahweh by Shem Yahushua have deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding. And this is why the order was set up for the man to be over the woman. And this is why when the serpent went to Eve in the garden in the same chapter that you was reading, Genesis 3, that's why he approached Eve instead of going to Adam, because he knows that Eve, she's deprived of wisdom. She doesn't see the underlying effect of what her actions will do down the line, man. And
let's make a point. Oh, Salaki, go ahead. Go ahead. No, let's make it now. I want to show that video clip, just giving you an example of how Eve, the woman, right, was beguiled by the serpent all over again. Prime example. Let me put it in the screen. This is what we're talking about right here. Got two clips actually, right? Here's the first one. Y'all brothers can see it, right?
Con.
You see, prime example. She said, run down to the abortion clinic and have that little bastard destroyed, man. And look how these dumbass women cheering for it, right?
Man.
You see, that's just another example of the serpent beguiling Eve all over again, man. These damn simple-minded women, man. Here's another one.
Basically, like if they have their baby, they can neglect them for 7 days, and if the baby dies, then they can't be held criminally liable. What do you think?
Yeah, I think whatever helps women and helps them achieve their dreams and however that needs to happen is definitely acts to help. That is helping all of us.
So I prefer that most women make their decisions at 8 weeks, but I'm also in support of 10 months out of the womb.
So you think babies should be aborted 10 months after they're born?
If the mother wants to, yes.
I think fuck them kids. So if you want to get a late-term abortion, that's up to you. I've had an abortion too, and it was my choice, and I'm happy I had that choice. I've had an abortion myself.
Would you guys get an abortion again?
Yes,
100%.
100 times. I'd do it multiple times
until I feel that I'm ready as a parent. That's a choice I'll continue to make.
See that?
And I want to speak that demon said at the end, man. That of course you got Eve, who said the worst out of everything on that shit. But the Edomite chick, she said that she's going to continue to having abortions until she's ready to have children. Now, what makes this case so prevalent is because when you look how the effect of promiscuity has done unto these women. All right, you gotta go back into the origin of where this pretty much started. Now you had the boom of the sexual revolution, which when before this whole thing with condoms and abortion was here. All right, the woman when she laid down with a man, she had to be careful on who she had sex with because she knew that if that man would to get her pregnant, that she's bound to that man. So you didn't have women jumping from men to men back then because of that issue. Now when Esau came with this whole thing of condoms and abortions, all right, that gave the women free liberty to pretty much do what they wanted with their bodies at that point. So that this began the whole sexual revolution was pretty much the destruction of the unity of man and woman because now men had no power over a woman to pretty much make her be able to have his seed, man. And that was specifically pushed upon the tribes, man, the so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Because if you look at the abortion rates, all right, the so-called black woman, she leads the all the nations, in abortion, per year, and that's by design because Margaret Sanger, who was the creator of Planned Parenthood, she put that in all Jake's neighborhoods as a means to pretty much enforce eugenics, which is nothing but population control, man. Because her main message for that was she viewed so-called blacks as human weeds, and it was up to the white nations to pretty much exterminate them because they viewed them as pests, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that chick Gloria, what's her name? Gloria Steinem, that spearheaded that feminist movement. She was an Amalekite. She was a 1948er on top of that. That's so right. Once again, the serpent crept his ass up in there and beguiled the tribes all over again, as we just showed you an example of that, man.
That's right.
Nothing new under the sun, as the brother posted it. Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that have been, all right, it's the brother, this is the brother Prince, Yanazar 144K. Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Yeah, see, all over again, man. So just like how back in the garden, all right, when Eve took on that wicked philosophy, she believed in that dark philosophy, whatever that case was, which is really which we see today, that feminism bullshit, this abortion stuff that we're going into. She believed it.
Yeah.
Right? And she was deceived. Same thing happening now.
Yeah. If I could get another preset real quick.
Come.
From the NLT and back in Genesis 3:16, and it reads, it says, this is back in, I'm going to read it in the King James, I'm going to read it in the NLT. So in the King James, it says, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over you. All right? So we understand that the reason why women have birth pains is because that's one of the punishments they got for taking on the philosophies of the serpent. Now, in the NLT, it says, then he said to the woman, I will sharpen the pain of your pregnancy, and in pain you will give birth, and you will desire to control your husband, and he will rule over you. Right. So this whole abortion situation was a weapon that Esau gave Eve to have control over the man, because when the man impregnates the woman, all right, she pretty much holds his seed in her body for those 9 months before the baby comes out. So with the woman, all right, they're being pushed to where they're saying it's your body, your choice. So say if she gets with this man and he impregnates her, and all of a sudden she doesn't want to be with him anymore, that gives her the right to go down to the clinic and kill this man's seed, man. Which results in pretty much population control, because these women have taken that and ran with it. Eve is so what's the word I want to use? She's so she's pretty much, she doesn't want somebody having power over them. This is why I seen one post this chick said where she's like, I wish we could choose our baby daddies, because they don't want to take accountability for their actions, because they know that once they open up their legs to that man, it's a possibility that he can put their seed inside of them. So they don't want that. They don't want that responsibility. So that's why Esau was like, well, if you don't want to have that man's seed, then just kill it. And these women ran, and they ran with that, man. And they've led the league in abortions ever since, man.
That's right. That's right. Go ahead. Up.
You have more on that, priest?
Nah, that's it.
Tom, you can say your point, Elder.
No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead. I was gonna get that precept.
I had a precept to back you up, priest, because you were saying that the leadership and these women, they just running with this bullshit. You see? This is Isaiah 3:12 in the NLT. Childish leaders oppress my people. All right, now you look up that word childish, that pretty much goes into foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the leadership that is over our people is foolish and it's oppressing us, man. All right. And women rule over them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my people, your leaders mislead you. They send you down the wrong road. All right. And as we going through this lesson, man, you know, our people are hell bent on fighting for this cause, this quote unquote cause that they feel that they need to uphold and fight for, when in reality, this isn't something that you should be even concerned with as the nation of Israel, man. You
Right.
see, everything that this man is doing is to pretty much put you in harm's way.
That's right.
You know,
and to add
and
to
with the leaders, these foolish leaders that are in position, and these women that are working in conjunction with one another. This is a direct cause as to why the nation of Israel is in the state it's in right now.
That's right. Yeah, and back, brother, you know, like I said earlier, man, these women don't look at the long-term effects of what they've done or what they're still doing as far as dealing with this whole subject, because they don't realize that they're contributing to the death of our nation, because the leading cause of death for the so-called, you know, Black, Latino, Native American man, but mainly the so-called Black man, is abortion, man. So it's a lack. You're contributing to a lack of, you know, men being born because you're killing the babies, man. And then also another thing that Tyler Mom said, that they're not even realizing they're harming themselves, because when you go and have those surgeries to take the fetuses out of your stomach, man, that messes up their bodies, man. So a lot of these women that get multiple abortions, they come to a point that when they finally do want to have children, they're not able to because their bodies are jacked up.
Exactly.
So this man, he's a psychopath, man. You know, and he's effectively fooled Eve into thinking that what she's doing is actually for her benefit.
That's right. I got that scripture for you in was it Sirach 12, right?
All
right. I'm gonna pull it in the screen.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is Sirach 12. All right, Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 12, and verse 10, and it reads, it says, never trust thy enemy.
Mm-hmm.
For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
Right. Never trust thy enemy. Why is that said? Because Esau, Edom, he is our enemy. And you can go back to Genesis 27 and read how when Jacob supplanted Esau out of his blessing, all right, and Esau was given that sword as a means to his blessing, all right, he plotted in his heart that he was going to kill his brother Jacob. And he's been doing just that ever since then, man. So we understand that this man has always had an agenda to kill us, man. All right. And though he'll put it up as a means where he loves our people, he's you know, doing these different things as a means to help us, this man's wickedness is always shown forth when you look at the undertones of what he's always done, man.
That's right. Sirach 12 and 10, never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 11, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou should be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away.
Right, because this man, you know, using Margaret Sanger as an example, she founded Planned Parenthood and presented that as a way to help, you know, so-called women, or the so-called Black women, you know, as look, man, this is the help. So we know that, you know, a lot of you are getting pregnant, you know, out of wedlock. You know, a lot of you, you know, pretty much are being put in a bad situation because you can't afford your child. So what we're going to do, we put this Planned Parenthood in your neighborhood. So if you see you can't afford your children, just go down there, you can kill your baby, and you can pretty much have a fresh start at life, you know. But we understand that this man's whole MO was to kill our people, man. You know, so that wicked always shown, because see, they think just because they let us out of slavery, all right, we're not on the plantations no more, that this man doesn't hate us no more. No, he still hates us, man. He just found a good way of hiding it, man.
Yeah. Hey, this is the war against Jacob, man. This is all out war against Jacob on every level, right? Reading it again, Sirach 12 and 11, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou should be unto him as thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away.
Yeah, because back then they didn't see, nothing that whole situation as being wicked. But now, fast forward, we seeing how wicked that really was, man.
Come. It says, verse 12, Sirach 12 and 12, set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith.
Right. So the Lord was warning us not to take, not to pretty much, take the lives of this man as as help, man. He told us to get away from him because his whole MO is really to get his birthright back, man.
God.
So he wants the promise that Israel is promised to, man. He wants that eternal life. He wants that the dominion over the earth forever. This is why you're seeing him pretty much set everything up to run forth with that idea, man. All right, because we're gonna get into in a little bit that really this whole case is to bring in a more more means of control by stripping you of your rights, man, of your privacy.
God. Reading on, Sirach 12 and 13, it says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with the serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beast? You see that? And like you were saying, just add on, this is the product of following the serpent.
Yep.
Right. What are the results of following this damn devil? Right. You have the destruction, as we were talking about yesterday. You have the destruction of the nuclear family. All right. The role between man, woman, and child has been destroyed, man. Dysfunctional homes, single parent homes. All right. Children are monsters. These niggas are monsters. These women are sluts, whores, no guidance. Right. This is what happened. Right. When when Eve took on that feminism spirit, man.
That's right.
Right. That you have liberty, you have been sexually liberated, man. Right. You lead, like the brother said, you lead the league in abortions, man. Right. You're a primary candidate when it comes to sacrificing your child to Satan, man.
That's
right.
God,
And these women don't have no accountability. They don't have any shame in it. You see? You got it. I Tazawam, you got it.
God, I just wanted to add on to you. I got some numbers. Nearly 40% of all abortions in America since Roe versus Wade have been from Black Americans. All right. This equates to more than 20 million Black pregnancies aborted. That would be equivalent to either the population of New York or Florida. So just imagine the death toll that has been brought through by the abortions from the erection of Roe versus Wade. Imagine just driving through New York and it's a bunch of Israelite babies on the floor. Just to put into perspective the death toll of how many children have been killed since then.
Yeah, man. These women are literally walking around with cemeteries in their wombs, man. And then another way to make this nigga so wicked, if it's been came to light that Esau was using these aborted fetus cells, and products that we use every day, whether it be food, drinks, and that, what, man, that the Pope, So the main reason why they're enforcing, I don't say enforcing, but they're promoting this to Eve, and so that they can use those aborted fetuses to pretty much, the profit off of, man.
I got something real quick before. Did you want me to finish that Sirach 12?
Yeah, a little bit more, but go ahead and get your precept though.
I'm gonna bring a precept and I'll go back to the Sirach 12 and we'll finish it out. Give me Lamentations 4 and verse 3. All right, just to add on to that, Job 39 and 17, where it talks about because the Most High have deprived her of wisdom, neither have he imparted to her understanding. And we see that. All right.
Lamentations 4:3. Even the sea monsters draw out the breast; they give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people is become cruel, like the ostriches in the wilderness.
Yeah. You see that? Because ostriches are known for what? Stepping on their eggs, basically killing their children, right?
Yep.
And that's how the Israelite woman is towards her kids. That's why, as you've been seeing as of lately, especially, there's been a lot of cases popping up of the Israelite woman murdering her kids, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You done heard stories of them strangling the kids, driving them off cliffs and shit, putting them in the oven, you know, and then now what we're talking about in this lesson, the abortions, the millions of deaths of the unborn kids, Israelite babies, man. So
Right.
it says the last part of that verse, it says what? It says that the daughter of my people is become cruel,
Mm-hmm.
like the ostriches in the wilderness. See, it's a cruel spirit upon the Israelite woman, man. And she has no remorse. She has no remorse. She has no shame. She has no accountability of any of her actions, man.
Right.
See, and she's wicked.
Hey,
Right?
it's been a lot of videos coming out now of how, you know, the women that do have these children, man, they're beating the babies. You know, they're making videos of them beating the baby up and sending it to the father. You know, like you said,
Yep.
killing the woman or killing the baby, and you even have cases to where you see it now, man. As I said in the beginning of that verse, it says even the sea monsters dry out the breast; they give suck to the young ones. These women don't even breastfeed no more, man, because
Right.
they don't want their titties to pretty much sag from the breastfeeding, so they'd rather give their babies Similac, which is poison, you know, and they don't care about these children, man. You know,
Real quick.
just for checks, man.
Real quick. You said that because that's heavy. Now now there's a famine on baby formula and all of that, right? And you got all these women out here panicking. What about breastfeeding your child, man?
Exactly.
That's the best form of feeding your child is breastfeeding. When you get all that baby gets all the nutrients that it needs to grow and survive, man. That shows you that these women have been completely, you know, Americanized, so to speak. You know,
Right.
they don't even want to breastfeed the kids no more. That shows you how vain these women are. Brother, post that scripture. I was thinking about this too, real quick. All right, Deuteronomy. This is from the brother Amawan. Deuteronomy 28:56. The curses. Deuteronomy 28:56. It says, "The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not venture to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness," it says, "her eyes shall be evil toward her husband, toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son and toward her daughter." And we see that. All right. The Israelite woman, her eyes evil toward her husband and her children, man. Right? That's the spirit that's on these women. Right? You can't say that this is not true. Right? Yeah. It says, "For she shall eat them for the one of all things secretly in the siege and straightness, wherewith thy enemy shall distress thee in thy gates." And that's coming too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When they run out of food and resources, right? Hey, people are gonna be eating their children.
Mm-hmm.
And cannibalism is coming back in full effect. You see? But that's the point, that her eye should be evil towards her husband and the children of her bosom, man.
Yeah.
You see that? You know? I skipped the verse, Salakia, Deuteronomy 28:57, "And toward the young one that cometh out from between her feet."
Woo!
You see that? Evil towards her own baby, man. And toward her children, which she shall bear. You see that? Because these women nowadays, these modern women, so to speak, they resent and hate the fact of being a mom.
They do.
Being a wife. You know? That's what we're dealing with now in society, man. These women are not even women anymore, man. You know?
Hey, bro, Baba Kashad, the brother posted the definition of cruel. Can you put that on the screen? That's heavy. Yeah, it says definition of cruel of persons or their actions able or disposed to inflict pain or suffering. And that's the modern women as a whole, man. You know, they're cruel as hell to like you said, the baby and the husband, man.
Mm-hmm.
These women are completely selfish, man. You know? And so, like I said, once again, all right, they don't see the undertone of what their actions are pretty much leading to, man. You know? So they're petitioning, you know, for this thing, but they don't understand what's really going on, man. All they care about is the here and now. All right.
I'll go back to that for you.
Con.
And that's exactly what it is, the brother Yahweh image. That's exactly what it is. And we're going to get into that.
Yep.
Right? So let's go back to what we were reading in Sirach 12, just finishing it out. Right? All right. So this is Sirach 12. And we'll read verse 12 again.
Con.
Sirach 12 and 12, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 12. It says, Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith.
Right, you were warned.
Exactly.
Don't pretty much take heed to this man's words, man. Hey, you would think after hearing the story about Eve in the garden and how she listened to Esau, which the serpent was Esau, in the reincarnation, but she listened to Esau and we fell. All right. How much more now, man?
Come.
Nigga ain't changed, man.
Come. Read it on. Verse 13. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with the serpent? Or any as such come nigh wild beasts.
Mm-hmm.
So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity?
Yeah, we don't feel sorry for y'all, man, because at the end of the day, your own actions has put you in a position to where you, for one, you can't have children no more. Or the other example where men don't want you no more, man. Because I'm gonna be honest, man. Once a man finds out that woman had an abortion, that man's pretty much he's not gonna want to deal with you because that shows that you don't love that man. If you're with a woman and she aborts your child, that's a true form of hate right there, man. All right. So when you see, these women pretty much crying out why they can't find a man or they can't get pregnant, and that reason comes out because they was having abortions, we don't feel sorry for you because you listen to the serpent, man. You got bit, man. Same thing now with the juice.
Exactly. Verse 15. For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagined how to overthrow thee into a pit.
Yeah.
He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood.
And that's the whole point of what we're going into now, because he with them soft words, he got you people thinking, that he was trying to help you. But now when we see of what this all was really about, this is ultimately to bring in the charagma, man, because what he's ultimately doing is trying to strip you away of your right of privacy, man. That whole my body, my choice, that's out the window now, man. Because the majority of you that took the juice, your body's not even yours anymore, man. All right. You are now owned by the U.S. government, and it's patent. It's on the books now, man.
It's on the books. Verse 7. Okay, come, Salakia.
Now you good.
Verse 16. Right? Reading that again. And an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagined how to throw thee into a pit. Right? The scriptures tell you that his words were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Right?
Yeah.
As we were going into, this is all war against what? The Israelites, man.
Yeah.
It says he will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Verse 17, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, right, with this whole Roe versus Wade case, right, though he pretend to help thee, yet he will undermine thee.
Yeah.
He will shake. Go ahead.
And how he's going to undermine you is pretty much by making you a perpetual slave unto him, man. All right. Because with the things that's being passed now, you have no control over yourself. So when Esau begins to mandate, the what, all right, you can't say no now, man. Now by law, you're legally bound to him to do what he tells you to do, man.
Exactly. That's what it's all about, man. Now all your so-called civil liberties are going to be stripped, right? Yeah. Your so-called freedoms, man. This is what it's all about, man. See, this is the devil, all right? The devil, he's slick. It's always layers to his wickedness, man. The things that he's really trying to do, right?
I want to read this real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
This is from it was a comment left by this guy named Nathan M. Henson, and he said, "I have shared this take privately with friends on overturning Roe v. Wade, and now I will share it publicly. Roe is based upon a privacy right emanating from the penibus of the Constitution. Roe is being overturned to make the jab mandates constitutional. All right,
See?
so that was the end goal, man. You know, to pretty much make it to where you are owned by Esau, man. All right, because we know the juice is pretty much going to be the precursor to the charagma, man. So
Exactly.
you're being led into a big snare, man. All right. So this whole the situation with this court case, man, is just a big a big snare. How people are falling right into it, man.
Falling right into it. You know, I got something too from the comment board. All right. Maznayim, servant of Yahushai. Proverbs 4:16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. And that's the devil. That's the so-called white man. He can't sleep unless he causes somebody to fall, man. Right? This is what it is with him, man. You know, his ways are constantly what? To destroy Jake, man. You know, his, like the scriptures say, his eyes are privily set against the poor. You know?
And I have a preset, and then can you pull that article out? Because I want to touch back on what the brother said earlier, Prince Yanazar 144K, that scripture he brought about that which is then is now pretty much there's no new thing under the sun, right? So real quick, this is Sirach 14:7. It says, if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. And that's pretty much what we're touching on, man, because unbeknownst unto these simple-minded people, all right, this whole abortion thing is really a spiritual snare as well, man, because you people that are with the abortion, you women and you niggas too, man, because you got these wicked dudes out here that'll throw these women the money to go abort their child because they don't want to have to deal with her, as being a baby mama or a wife, so they'll just throw her the little money for the abortion and pretty much send her on her way or give her a plan B or whatever, man. But what you're actually doing is you're committing, spiritual sacrifice, man, because abortion goes into child sacrifice, which goes back to the pagan idol called Molech, man. That was one of the Israelites' main snares going back in the history, man.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and read it and we'll grab scriptures on it.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, this is from the site. It's from numbers1317.org. Right. It says, the title, as we read here, we're going to read through it and grab some scriptures briefly, but it says, we are practicing Baal Peor worship like Israel of old. We must repent before it's too late. What is the connection between Baal worship, Molech, the god of fire, and Ashtoreth, the goddess of fertility? Right? It says, do not bypass. This is an important study. Pagan worship is practiced all over again at a grand scale, and we see that.
Yeah.
Here in North America, especially in the so-called Christian world, right? It says homosexuality, transformism, oral sex, anal sex, prostitution, abortion, right?
You gotta spit the bones out. Oral sex isn't off, man. Esau
right.
Weirdo, man.
Right. So we just gonna read through it, right? Right. But all these things, all these demonic practices are happening now to this very day.
That's right.
Is the point why we're reading this. Right. So it says in biblical times, Molech was a male false god of ancient Canaan. Asherah or Ashereth was the name of the chief female deity worshipped in ancient Syria, Phoenicia, and Canaan. The Phoenicians called her Astarte. The Assyrians worshipped her as Ishtar. She was considered the consort of Molech. Baal Peor was considered the sun god. The worship of Baal Peor involves two pagan gods, Molech and Asherah, Ishtar and Ishtareth.
If I can add on to you right quick, bro.
You got it.
That consort pretty much just meaning that was like the wife of Molech.
Yeah.
God. It says Baal means Lord or owner and refers to Satan. Peor means cleft or of gapped, from the word pa'ar, meaning to wide open. All right, reading on. It says God's warning against worship God's warning against worshiping Molech, the Canaanite god of fire, is given in a physical, moral, and spiritual context. Believing Jews and non-Jews living in the land of Israel were prohibited from pagan sexual worship of the Canaanite fertility goddess because God viewed such pagan worship as abomination.
That's right.
Asherah, go ahead.
I say, well, we keep reading. Yeah, we can read down.
Okay. It says Asherah or Ashtoreth was the name of the chief female deity worshipped in ancient Syria, Phoenicia, or Canaan. In Canaan, the Phoenicians called her Astarte, and the Assyrians worshipped her as Ishtar, and the Philistines had a temple of Asherah, 1 Samuel 31:10, because of Israel's incomplete conquest of the land of Canaan. Asherah worship survived and plagued Israel, starting as soon as Joshua was dead, Judges 2:13. Right? And I'll read this last paragraph here, and we'll grab some scripture. It says, God intended to prevent his people from practicing the shrines of homosexuality, lesbianism, bestiality, sodomy, prostitution, abortion, and murder of the Canaanites, which he warned against in Leviticus 18:3 and 20 and 23. It says, the word translated Molech or Moloch, the spelling varies, occurs 8 times in the Bible, and it lists the scriptures. All right. So yeah, so you got it up.
Kind. So first one, let's get Jeremiah 13:23.
All right.
This devil, he has downplayed, the whole worshiping of these idols, because when you go into the practices back then, when you read through the scripture and do research, all right, it was actual, gruesome, practice. But see, here in America, they dumbed it down and made it, less physically, brutal. But nonetheless, sacrifice is still sacrifice.
Yeah. It's Jeremiah 32:35. And they built high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire unto Molech, which I commanded them not. Neither came it into my mind that they should do this abomination to cause Judah to sin. See, and they're doing this very day. That child sacrifice, man. Because really, going back to the picture real quick, right? There was sacrificing their sons and daughters to Molech back then, and they're doing the same thing now through Planned Parenthood. It's the same thing under a different name. Nothing new under the sun. You got it out.
I'm looking up a definition real quick. So you have another precept, you can get it.
Got you. This is 2 Kings 23:10, and it reads. It says, and he defiled Topheth, which is in the valley of the children of Hinnom, that no man might make his son or his daughter to pass through the fire to Molech. All right. And that's what our people are doing to this very day. This is what they're fighting for. Right. We've got our people out there fighting to basically sacrifice their sons and daughters to the pagan god Molech all over again. Right. That's what this abortion thing is all about, man. Right. You know,
and that's actually in the law,
Gone.
This is Leviticus 18:21. It says, and thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy power. I am Yahweh Shem Shah. Now, Esau didn't mess with the blue letter, but I remember when we did the lesson before, when you go into pass through the fire, that actually said abortion in the blue letter, but they took it off.
Exactly. I remember that. Showing you that these so-called scholars, they know, right? That's why they took it out of there, because abortion is modern day sacrificing to Molech, man. These women are allowing, they're passing their kids through that fire all over again, man. They're sacrificing their children to that fire all over again, man.
Because when you look at the practice of what they used to do, it was actually a big statue. I think like a cow with horns or ox or whatever, and they would have the hands pretty much out like this, and they will come and put their baby in the hands of the idol, and then they would light a fire under the idol, and the baby would pretty much burn to death, man. You know,
Con,
and this is the same practice that takes place in the Bohemian Grove every year, man. You know, this is why
con,
you have, you know, you go in Walmart, you see those missing child posters, you know, because those childs get abducted all throughout the winter solstice. That's about what, October, no, by October through December, you know, 31st or whatever. And then they abduct these children all throughout that time so that they can have, you know, sacrifices, you know, ready for when they conduct those rituals, man. You know.
con. Hey, I got a scripture in, and I want to read something out of this book that I got here. But this first scripture I got, this is Leviticus, right? This is Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 5. It says, "Then will I set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut him off, and all that go a whoring after him, to commit whoredom with Molech from among their people." You see? So the Lord gonna cut these people off, man. He gonna put them to death, right? Because as we're going into this, is all modern day human sacrifice. Now I got this book here. I looked up the definition of Molech, right? This is out of the Hallman Illustrated Bible Dictionary, right? I'm just gonna read these two paragraphs real quick, right? So it says under Molech, it says a second suggestion is that Molech is the name of a pagan deity to whom human sacrifices were made. This deity often is associated with Ammon. It says 1 Kings 11:7, the abomination of the children of Ammon. Leviticus 20:5 condemns those who commit whoredom with Molech, as we just read, right? Now let me jump down. It says it is generally assumed that references like these are to the sacrifices of the children in the valley of Hinnom at a site known as Topheth, probably means, quote, fire pit. Precisely how this was done is unknown. Some contend that the children were thrown into a raging fire.
Yes.
Certain rabbinic writers describe a hollow bronze statue in the form of a human, but with the head of an ox. According to rabbis, children were placed in the structure that was heated from below. Drums were pounded to drown out the cries of the children. You see that? That's heavy, man. You know?
I'll put it on the screen so y'all can see that, man. Because this is what he was reading. You know how it used to look back in the ancient world, right? So that's the ancient statue. Now, as I mentioned, the elite still practice this. Now you have the Bohemian Grove, which pretty much during that every year they have a party where they go out in the woods and they pretty much, you know, have this giant orgy where they pretty much, you know, run around butt naked and sacrifice children. Now, if this is supposed to be a God-fearing country, why do they have a statue of Molech here in America, in San Francisco, man? All right. So that shows you that these Edomites, you know, are pretty much pushing forth, you know, Molech worship, man. You know. And Baba Kushai, if you can't have nothing else, can you go back to that one article and just read the section on Molech real quick?
Going back, right? All right, going back. All right, part one, who was Molech or Moloch, right? As you see the same image the brother put up. All right, reading through it, it says Moloch was the pagan god of the Ammonites and the Phoenicians, to whom parents sacrificed their children. They were barbarians. Moloch was a national deity of the heathen Ammonites, a fire god commonly worshipped throughout the ancient Near East, in North Africa by Canaanites and Philistines and Arameans and the Semitic peoples and later Phoenicians. He was known by many names, all signifying the same false god. There are many different names for Molech. These names all refer to the same false god, spelled in various different ways. Melech, Moloch, Milcom, Molech, Malik, Malcolm, Malkart, Milk, Melquarth, Chronos, and Cronus. All right, jumping down. right? Moloch worship was prevalent among the Canaanites when Israel entered the land, evident from the fact that God warned Israel against Molech worship as an abomination the Israelites were forbidden to practice, Leviticus 18 and 21. An abomination is a sin compiled with disgust.
The Most High, he that, man, because when you look at it, children, they're a gift from the Most High, and so for you to just throw away something the Most High gave you, all right, that shows that's an abomination, man. That shows you didn't appreciate what the Lord gave you, man. You know, and that's prevalent as hell now, man. These people don't look at children as gifts anymore, man. They're pawns for their needs now.
They're a burden.
Yeah.
It says, reading on, fire gods like Moloch and his fertility godless consort Ashereth exercised captivating power over the primitive Canaanites. Their pagan worship often led to sacrificing their children upon fiery altars of Moloch. They literally killed their children and burned their bodies in the worship of Moloch. Reading on, it says, it is sad that our nation's leaders worship Moloch at Bohemian Grove, San Francisco, California, and they are the ones who legalized abortion in 1973, Roe versus Wade.
See how everything it circles back, man, because this is all Esau. You know, this is part of his plan, man. You know,
it's heavy. That's heavy, right? I'm gonna read that again. It is sad that our nation's leaders worship Moloch at Bohemian Grove, San Francisco, California, and they are the ones who legalized abortion in 1973, Roe versus Wade.
Right. So Esau was actively helping our people commit idolatry, man, and our people don't even realize it, man.
Abomination, man. It says tens of millions of Americans are sacrificing their children on the altar of abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Is it mere coincidence that abortion was legalized in 1973 when Bohemian Grove has existed for over 100 years? Are Americans in reality offering up their children to Satan in a sacrifice? The fact of the matter is that the leaders who legalize abortion do worship Moloch and do offer burnt human sacrifices to him every year at Bohemian Grove. This is a fact, not mere speculation.
Yep.
Heavy. Last part. I'll read this last part. It says, Margaret Sanger was the queen of the eugenics movement that fueled Hitler's religion of hate, prejudice, and murder. The same insane eugenics attitude is prevalent in the world today, especially among the world elite who plan to kill off 90% of the world's population.
And it's funny that they have that at the end, because that's ultimately why all this is being done, because they want to pretty much bring in this NWO as a means to kill off a good chunk of the people, and the ones that's left that they want to put that Karagma inside of, man. You know,
that's
so
it.
Esau is very elaborate in his schemes, man.
It's heavy, man. What else we got here? What you got?
We get Isaiah 32:5 and read that verse 7.
Isaiah 32:5. All right, and I got that. What you call it, the Ministry of Truth pulled up too.
Oh yeah.
If brothers want to touch on that, you know what I'm saying, just to add on to it.
Come on.
But what was it again? Isaiah 32:5. All right, this is Isaiah 32:5. And it reads, it says, the vile person shall no more be called liberal, nor the trail said to be bountiful. Verse 6, for the vile person will speak villainly, and his heart will work iniquity to practice hypocrisy.
Right. So this whole, pretty much what Esau allowing people to do what they want, that's coming to an end, man. And this man is showing forth his true agenda now, man. All right.
To practice hypocrisy and to utter error against the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail.
Because he's ultimately making the Israelites rebel against Yahweh Shema Shai. So like I said, he's making our people commit idolatry, and they don't even know it. But he knows, and it's a reason why it's an abortion clinic in every neighborhood where Jake is, man. because he wants them to do that, man. He wants Jake to blaspheme against Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, to piss the Lord off to his face, man.
Verse 7. The instruments of the churl are evil.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I believe a churl is like a very conniving, deceitful person.
And is that not Esau?
It says the instruments also of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. You see that? And this is what he does. These are those wicked devices, abortions, man. All right, to destroy the poor, which is Jake, right?
Right.
Which our people have gotten caught up in that snare. You see?
That's right. And I got one more, and then y'all can take it from here. Can you get Psalm 4 and 6?
Psalms 4 and 6.
64 and 6.
Psalm 64 and 6. Right? This is Psalm 64 and 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought every one of them, and the heart is deep.
Right. It says they search out iniquities and they accomplish a diligent search. Esau has done extensive research to find out what snares the Israelites continue to fall in. This is why Babylon the Great pretty much puts up all the idols that Jake has been, stuck in, going all the way back to Egypt, man. All right. He's taken all the idols that Jake has went through every captivity and all put them here in one, man. So it's all it's idolatry, spiritual wickedness all throughout this place. And Esau has figured out exactly how to cultivate Jake. Anything you watch or listen to or see all has wickedness intertwined in it to make you go off, man. That's why his heart is deep. All right, and that word deep means unsearchable, man. This nigga is always scheming to find a new way to make Jake go off, man.
Exactly. Like the brother put up here, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife gave over $200 million to Planned Parenthood, and that's heavy because we were speaking about that yesterday, how billions of dollars are poured into Jake to keep him ensnared, trapped up, to keep him going off.
That's right.
Basically black culture, right? Billions of dollars is poured into black culture to keep Jake going off, man. All right, the entertainment industry, the church, as you see here, the Planned Parenthood. These are all exactly. All these things to keep Jake ensnared and trapped, to keep Jake into sin. You see, and this is true too. I remember hearing some information about this. Margaret Singer is related to Bill Gates. I think that is his grandmother on his mother's side. Yeah, I remember reading.
I remember that too.
So all these devils are all intertwined, man.
Mm-hmm.
Is the point. That was it, Ak?
That's all I had. So if you want to get into the truth thing, you and Tazwell, y'all can take that.
You want to get into that, Ak? You want to speak on that?
Yeah, we can speak on it briefly, just because that ties in with all of this information that's coming out about this Roe versus Wade case and stripping the people of their privacy rights. All right, this is really a pivotal point to address in this whole matter. Let me see. So it says, you want to read that, bro?
I'll read it. I'll read the main parts, and then we'll get back, get to the scripture or whatever you want to say.
Okay.
But, this is from lifesitenews.com. It says Biden's new ministry of truth is a blatant move to control Americans via social media.
Mm-hmm.
It says permitted speech will be defined by government agencies, and the mechanisms for controlling, targeting, or removing speech that challenges that narrative will now lead to content removal.
And what's the most important content on the internet? All right, us. You see those that are preaching the word in season and out of season. The true gospel of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, which goes against everything that this man is trying to push.
Getting straight to the point, right? It says, in essence, Ukraine was a justification for search engines like Google, DuckDuckGo, and social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to begin targeting information and content that did not align with the official U.S. government narrative. You see that? It's all about. It says, reading on, you was going to say something?
No, you got it.
Read on, it says, previously, those same methods were deployed by the U.S. government, specifically the CDC, FDA, towards the Crown 99 and the JUICE program. All of this background aligns with previous visibility of a public-private partnership between the bureaucracy of government, the U.S. intelligence agencies, and U.S. social media.
Exactly. Now, just as we read in the first article from Wired, it shows you that the concern is not only with your physical privacy, but your digital privacy also is at risk via the stripping of this this case, Roe versus Wade. You see?
That's right.
So
that's right.
And I also wanted to mention too, it's funny, the Ministry of Truth is one of the 4 ministries in George Orwell's 1984 book.
Heavy.
So this Ministry of Truth is nothing but deception, man. It's nothing but to control the narrative and ultimately push the truth, the true truth out of the way.
That's right. Hey, I had a preview for your top one. You can break it down. This is Isaiah 10:1. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed."
This devil is drawing up these decrees, you see, and it's in the minds of our people to think that they need to fight against it for the purpose of abortion. All right, which this man drew this shit up in abortion, the idea of abortion, which was wicked within itself. But now here he is trying to pretty much pull back this decree for another purpose, to push forward his wicked agenda, man.
That's right.
You see?
That's right.
And this is nothing but a destructive and grievous practice, man. Because all of this is gonna ultimately thrust through the nation of Israel specifically, man. Because that's who our main concern is, you know.
Hey, you set up verse 2. It says, "To turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless."
God, and that's the MO of this devil to a T, man. To cause perpetual harm to our nation, man.
That's right.
You know, through the way of media, you see, through the way of this Ministry of Truth that he's trying to usher, to alter the propaganda that's out here, because he knows what ultimately his biggest threat is the men that are preaching Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, the truth of the scriptures, man. You see, and everything that he's doing is being set up, all right, to kill off the nation of Israel, man.
Yep.
I just wanted to close out with this too. Did you have more on that, bro?
That was pretty much the point on that article, man. Bottom line is that, you know, as we were talking in this lesson, is that this Roe versus Wade case was ultimately to invade your privacy, man. All right, meaning that you're not going to have control over your body. All right, so when they mandate the charagma, the CHIP, right, you're not going to have any say so, man.
Yep.
Right. Going back to Revelation, as I stated earlier, Revelation 13 and 16, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that word constitute, when you look it up, and I got to pull it up here, it goes to set up, establish, enact, all right, to give due or lawful form to legally process. You see that? So he's going to make this thing law. And that's what it's about. That was the ultimate snare behind this whole fight for abortions and all that bullshit, man. You know, you got it out.
God, no, that's really the point. That's the point right there.
That's it. Y'all brothers got anything else?
No, sir.
That's it, man. Well, hey, we pray that this lesson was edifying. We just wanted to touch on these various points. It's all a snare. It's all a trap. All right. These people have been beguiled and deceived by the serpent all over again, man. But only those that have the eye salve can really see, right? The scriptures tell us that we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. All right, we see exactly what's happened. We know exactly what he's trying to do, the underlying issue here, man. You know, but other than that, hey, we pray that this lesson was edifying. All right, we'll close it out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Bahashem. Rakak Kadash. A double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth. Double salutations to all you Akim out there laboring in the house of David that's pushing his word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Hey, shalom to you, brothers.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.